Clerk, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Look.
Here.
Commissioner Brastad.
Here.
Commissioner West.
Here.
Commissioner Schulte.
Here.
Commissioner Meisner.
Here.
Commissioner Reinert.
Here.
Excellent. That brings us to item 4 on our agenda, where we'll entertain tax claims and abatements. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Commissioner Brastad, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner West. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Brastad. Commissioner West.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
That item passes. Item 5 on your agenda is we'll consider accepting the regular claims paid over $500 and purchase card claims paid for the period ending July 15th of 2022. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Look. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Brastad. Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, this requires a roll call vote.
Commissioner West.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
Commissioner Brastad.
Aye.
And that item passes. Next, we'll look for approval of the minutes from July 12th, 2022, the county board meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Meisner. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Reinert. Any corrections? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That item passes. We have one item under Chair's remarks today, and that's to note today is the kickoff of the Anoka County Fair. I'm going to ask Commissioner Look to lead us in our discussion of the fair. Commissioner Look.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Typically, it's the president of the fair, Mike Allers, who comes in and speaks, but as you can tell, he's probably pretty busy right now finishing up some final details for the kickoff here. Anyways, I just wanted to read that this event draws many visitors from both inside and outside our county, and for good reason. It's an annual rite of summer where you can come sample tasty food, listen to great music, and be entertained by various grandstand events such as motocross, bull riding, tractor pulls, and of course, the last car standing cap-off event, or the demolition derby, which is always a crowd favorite. The fair certainly attracts repeat visitors, but if you've never attended this event, you should pay it a visit. The fair is a fantastic opportunity to connect with your neighbors and learn about the programs and initiatives of our county government. The county has a booth at the fair that's staffed by various employees from different county departments, so on any given day, visitors can learn what Anoka County has to offer. The dedicated employees and mostly volunteers who work the fair shifts are eager to help information to the public. I should say it's volunteers on our end. They are employees of ours, but then also the county fair employees or rather volunteers are people that I think in some cases take weeks of their vacation time just to come out and do the fair every single year for everyone. So thank you to them and their hard work. Do try and plan your entrance and exit. I know there's a lot of construction going on, so Highway 47 is open. And but coming from McKinley or coming from Bunker, you can still access it. So we're looking forward to a fantastic fair. I know there's a little bit of weather today planned, but the rest of the week it looks to be bright and sunny. So we're looking for a great event to happen, Mr. Chair.
Well, very good. Thank you, Commissioner Look, for talking about the exciting offerings at this year's fair. Also, for those of you in attendance at the meeting today and watching at home, I'd like to extend an invitation to anyone who would like to come to the fair's flag-raising ceremony at noon today. This is a great opportunity to pay homage to those who have fought and died for the liberties we enjoy in this great country. And it's also a way to learn about some of the ways in which Anoka County supports its veterans. It's always wonderful to see the visitors as we hoist Old Glory to the top of the flagpole. Now, on to committee reports, and we will begin with the additional agenda, which is the Management Committee report. Commissioner West.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First item is restructuring, replacement, and adding a new position in Administration and Human Services effective July 26th due to a vacancy, recent resignation. We're going to restructure from a 1 FTE Deputy Director Human Resources, grade D016, 2, a 1 FTE Senior Business Systems Analyst C013, and then adding 1 FTE Senior HRMS Master Data Analyst grade D014.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion by Commissioner West, second by Commissioner Reinert. Is there further discussion? For those wondering, HRMS stands for Human Resource Management System. Seeing no further discussion, this requires a roll call vote.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner West.
Aye.
And that item passes. On to item 1B.
Next item is, should we do both of these, B and
I
C?
think we can do these together.
Human Services and Social Services and Behavioral Health. It's contingent on a Minnesota Department of Human Services Community Living Infrastructure Grant. It's effective July 26th. 2, 1 FTE Social Worker grade C012, and a new position in Human Services, Social Workers, and Behavioral Health. Contingent also on that grant is 1 FTE Lead Social Worker grade C013.
Is there a motion to approve items 1B and 1C?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Look, second by Commissioner Meisner. Further discussion?
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner
I
West.
just wanted to comment on this grant is something that we've received before. It's, we can expect it to be there for us, and there's other grants available in the event that it moves on. Also, when our people are hired on these contingency grants, we make it very clear what the situation is, and we usually have a position for them also if we lose it.
Thank you, Commissioner West. I would also comment that both of these items, the 3 positions, are all related to homelessness within our community and social workers to work on behalf of our residents to make sure that we can deal with that rising problem as the best way we can. And certainly this is putting a great deal of resources towards that effort, and happy to be a part of it. Any further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye. That item passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next item, D, is in Human Services, Social Service, and Behavioral Health as well, effective today. We are combining 2 half-time positions, so it's going to go from 0.5 FTE Associate Administrative Assistants, and the other 0.5 is going to just be restructured to a 1 FTE Administrative Assistant, grade A009.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Meisner. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Brassad. Further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
And that item passes.
And my last item, E, is adopting Resolution 2022 M12. It's a resolution approving the tentative agreement between the County of Anoka and Law Enforcement Labor Services, Inc. It is representing the work release unit for the calendar years 2022 through 24.
Is there a motion to approve?
Madam Chair, or Mr. Chair, I would adopt Resolution 2022 M12 as presented.
There's a motion before us. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Brassad. Further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
That item passes.
And thank you, Mr. Chairman, but that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner West. Commissioner Meisner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No, and I know that this is under informational for management, but just for the public, we are presenting all of our budgetary presentations during management. Is management recorded or no? It is not. Okay, so it is on our website, so you can look at it there. But just for edification for the public, we are going through all of our budgetary presentations, and last meeting, we went through library, county attorney's office, and communications. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Meisner. That concludes our additional agenda. If you'll move back to your main agenda, and we'll move to our committee reports, where we'll start with the Transportation Committee report. Our committee did have the opportunity to meet on Monday, July 18th at 8:30 over in the Transportation Division facility. We have 3 action items to bring before you this morning on the main agenda, and that is the committee recommends approval of a resolution authorizing the acquisition of right-of-way for 15741 Kettle River Boulevard Northeast in the city of Columbus. Is there an offer of the resolution?
So moved.
The resolution has been offered. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
And that item passes. Item 2 on your transportation agenda, the committee recommends approval of a resolution authorizing Anoka County to execute a declaration of real property for parcel 45 of the Anoka Solution Project right-of-way plat in the city of Anoka. Is there an offer of the resolution?
I'll offer the resolution.
The resolution's been offered by Commissioner Look and is now before you. I'm going to have Joe give us a 1 or 2 minute explanation of this because it's probably the first time any of us have ever seen this other than the Transportation Committee. It's a rare declaration, I think, that we've used, but explain it to us better, Joe.
Sure, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. My name is Joe McPherson. I'm the Transportation Division Manager and County Engineer. This action item before you is actually due to our participation on the Anoka Solution Project, which is underway currently. The parcel that's highlighted on the screen before you is a parcel that the city of Anoka worked with the landowner on. They actually purchased the access rights directly onto Highway 10 from the landowner. And so they've completed all the documentation necessary to purchase those access rights. However, since the county was able to secure $15 million to help support this project, the funds that we secured were bond funds. And along with those bond funds are the requirement that there's certain stipulations and requirements that the county must follow when utilizing those funds. One of those stipulations is we must maintain control of the property that was purchased. In this case, we're actually not technically purchasing any real property. We're purchasing an access right. So that's why you're seeing the declaration before you today. It's actually just a declaration where we acknowledge the bond financing requirements, and then that helps us control the access onto Highway 10. As we all know, we're converting that to a freeway section, so direct access onto Highway 10 will no longer be allowed.
Thank you, Joe. And I think an important part to point out there is this was an acquisition by the city in negotiations with the property owners. The county had nothing to do with that. We simply have to codify this here because of the bonding requirements for the project. Any further discussion? Commissioner Meisner.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. No, I just appreciate that we're fleshing this out because I was at that committee meeting and it was a little bit confusing with the conversation, but essentially we're just a pass through, like you're saying, and this is really a city project and we're just helping the city to do that.
I think, is there no further discussion? We do have the resolution before us. And seeing no further discussion, it does require a roll call vote.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look.
Aye.
That item passes. Item 3 on your transportation agenda, the committee recommends approval to enter into a professional services contract with WSB Engineering for design services for intersection improvements at 85th Avenue and Evergreen Boulevard in the city of Coon Rapids and Fridley. This is adjacent to the Springbrook Nature Center and the Evergreen Industrial Park that Coon Rapids has right in that area. This is to improve that roadway, and this is hiring WSB for those design services. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Meisner. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Reinert. Further discussion or explanation needed? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
And that item passes. Now, if you'll move to your Transportation Committee additional report, we have 2 action items there. These are cleanup from previous meetings, but the committee recommends approval to enter into a joint powers agreement with the City of Coon Rapids for the replacement of the Coon Creek Boulevard Bridge over the Coon Creek in the City of Coon Rapids. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Brasted. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Commissioner West. Further discussion? For those of you that remember, this is that triple box culvert bridge that we're going to install. We have to drive some deep piling. It's in the middle of the sod field. So, this is the joint powers agreement with Coon Rapids for that. Any further discussion? This is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brastad,
Aye.
Commissioner West.
Aye.
That item passes. Last item for transportation today, the committee recommends approval to enter into a joint powers agreement with Coon Rapids for the pedestrian safety improvements along North Hill Boulevard in front of the Coon Rapids High School in the City of Coon Rapids. And I would be happy to move this item. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Reinert. Again, this is the combination of working with the school district, the City of Coon Rapids, and Anoka County to provide some, I think we're using federal Safe Routes to School dollars to a grant from them to leverage this project and see if we can increase pedestrian safety. There's a number of ways they're proposing to do that, but this is getting that joint powers agreement in place. Any further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brastad,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye. That item passes, and that does conclude the transportation report for today. We will now move on to the Finance and Capital Improvements Committee report. Commissioner Look.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Finance and the Capital Improvements Committee met on July 19th, and we don't have any action items, although on the informational items, we did talk about, authorizing staff to seek bids for construction of the new emergency communication radio shop project. I think per our prior discussions, that project was coming in around 28 million, if I'm not mistaken, on dollars, 20 of which was going to be ARPA dollars, 8 million of which we're going to locate, cash on hand or bonding or some other solution for that 8 million. And I believe now, if I'm not mistaken, it's coming in at an estimated 38, 39 million. So there's quite a delta difference there between what we talked about prior as a board and where it is now. So my suggestion is that we go back and we discuss this perhaps in a work session or some other format to determine what the project is and if we're still agreeable to the 38, 39 million. Dee, you might be able to kind of formalize the numbers for me as I'm recalling from memory.
Yes, Commissioner D. Goodman, Deputy County Administrator. So before we brought it back to the Finance Committee, we went back to the Finance Department as well as Val's to talk about the cost of technology. As of right now, we won't be needing that technology for at least 2 years if we get the building done. We are struggling to have our vendors give us cost on the technology. And we wanted to make sure we have the right numbers in there. With inflation and unpredictable costs right now, we wanted to make sure we're covering that. For that building, the technology is kind of the heartbeat of the whole building. We need to make sure we have what we need for our dispatchers to dispatch. So we did raise that number. I anticipate that we will come in under that, but I wanted to pull that number out right away so you were aware of it before we started the project. So that's kind of why we adjusted that.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, aside from that, it was a good, robust conversation. Like I say, the rest is for informational purposes. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Look. That will move us to the Human Services Committee report. Commissioner Reiner.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Today, I have for you an uncommonly brief report. Just 2 items under consent, one under economic assistance, which is for economic assistance clients in the amount of $345,687.50. One under social services, which is a cost-neutral housing support allocation in the amount of $932,974 $2,000.44. And I will move both of those under the consent.
The consent agenda has been moved and is before you for a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Brasted. Any further discussion or questions of Commissioner Reiner's voluminous report?
Much.
Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brasted,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
The rest of the items are informational. Back to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Reinert. Back to you for the Information Technology Committee report.
Oh, it would be, wouldn't it? Because Commissioner
In Commissioner Gamash's absence, you will,
yes.
it is informational.
Yeah, and
So
I see that it's just informational, so this is going to make it easy on me. And
Excellent.
back to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Reinert. That will move us to the Property Records and Taxation Committee report. And Commissioner Meisner is here for that report. So we'll turn to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, what is happening? This is very concise for us. And I'm sorry, I'm going to back up a little bit. So in information technology, it was under informational, but again, we're going over our budgetary reviews, and so that is also presented, and that can also be found on our website. So thank you, Mr. Chair. The Property Records and Taxation Committee, we did meet on July 26th at 10:30. Actually, it was 10:50 a.m.
July 19th. Today's the 26th.
Thank you. We met on July 19th for this meeting, July 26th. Thank you for that correction. So I, as a committee chair, I do accept public commentary always by email because these committees are hard to get to during the day. Anyone can reach out to me with their public commentary at mandy.meisner@co.anoka.mn.us. However, we did have some residents there for that particular meeting. They were Brenda Miller from Columbus, Ruthie Mund from Blaine, Lisa Hendrickson from Linwood, and Andy Clipperton from Coon Rapids. They all did speak. I'm going to paraphrase, so forgive me for not speaking exactly what you said, but they came to express their concerns around elections. They were particularly worried about having any kind of electronics or machinery. So I know that our department has been working very closely with this group, and so just wanted to share any public commentary that happened. On to the action items, we have two. Action item number 1 is the committee recommends the county board adopt resolution number 2022 PRT9. This is authorizing the cancellation of forfeiture PIN number 08-33-24-42-0012 in the city of Oak Grove. So this is actually pretty unusual where there was a clerical error. And so this, what was forfeited is going to be brought back and then back onto our tax rolls. So I will go ahead and offer that resolution.
The resolution has been offered and is now before you. Is there further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That passes unanimously.
Thank you. For action item number 2, the committee recommends the county board adopt resolution 2022 PRT 10, establishing the Anoka County Absentee Ballot Board. So this particular board has been established since 2014. But what we did is we clarified some of the language to make it crystal clear that needed to be just updated. So nothing really changed per se about the structure. This is a board that is a party balance with election judges and making sure that everything is fair and equitable. So I will go ahead and also offer this resolution.
The resolution has been offered. Further discussion. I would just comment that this was to make sure that we were 100% compliant with state law and to make sure that it's not just with the words in state law, but the intent of state law. And so that's what the clarifications were for the absentee ballot board. And we are establishing it with this resolution. Further discussion.
Oh, just to piggyback off of that, because in the meeting, the question was, so we have not been compliant. We have always been compliant, but it really boiled down to a language, very specific thing to be compliant. So I did just want to mention that since I had the same question as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? That passes unanimously.
The rest of my items are informational, but as you guys know, I do always like to share with the public. So we also presented our 2023 property records and taxation budget. That can be found on our website. And I'll just give you an overview for 2023. The revenue for this area is $4.7 million with an expenditure of $8.9 million. So there is a lot of work and a lot of things going on in this department, but I encourage anyone who's interested to look on our website for all the details. I talked about our public commentary, and then our next scheduled meeting will be Tuesday, August 16th at 10:30 at room 710 in this building. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Meisner. That will take us to the Public Safety Report, and Commissioner Brasted.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our Public Safety Committee meeting was held on July 19th. We have one action item, and that is that the committee recommends approval and execution of Minnesota Financial Crimes Task Force Joint Powers Agreement between the state of Minnesota, acting through its Commissioner of Public Safety, on behalf of the BCA and the Anoka County Sheriff's Office for a term of 5 years from the date of execution. Anoka County has been an affiliate partner working with the BCA apprehension to investigate and prosecute major financial crimes by organized groups and individuals. And I'll move that.
There's a motion before us to authorize the contract. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Look. Further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Reinert,
Aye.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brasted,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
That item passes.
And I'd just like to mention, it is budget presentation time, like has been mentioned, so we had multiple budget presentations. And then also under the Sheriff's Office, there's 3 upcoming events that I just wanted to mention, and that is August 5th is the Community and Sheriff Together event. It's the CAST. It's a fishing event where maybe some young kids that haven't had the opportunity to get out and fish, they go out with our Sheriff's Office and volunteers, which is really rewarding. The Sheriff's Office has their open house scheduled for September 14th, which is always extremely popular in our community. And then back on the calendar is our Citizen Academy opportunities through the Sheriff's Office. And that will be scheduled from September 21st through November 2nd. And there's more information from the Sheriff's Office on that out there. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Brasted. That does wrap up our committee reports. We'll move on to item 9 on your agenda, where we'll consider approving a contract, which is an employment agreement. And I'll apologize to Gregory right now for pronouncing his name wrong, because I'm sure I will. Fram Gillis for services as Economic Development Department Director effective August 1st, 2022. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Reinert. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner West. And again, I look forward to meeting Gregory. I've not had the opportunity yet. I understand he was at our 3M Open tent entertaining many new business opportunities for Anoka County, or expanding opportunities, I should say. So I look forward to meeting him and again, learning how to pronounce his name properly. Commissioner Meisner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just commentary and to piggyback, I'm so pleased that we continue to invest in this particular position for economic development and working with all of our 21 cities and communities. This is so needed, as was discovered years ago from a study, and I also look forward to meeting him. I have not as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, and as Commissioner Meisner mentioned, our Anoka County Regional Economic Development Consortium partnership with all of our municipalities, the Metro North Chamber of Commerce, and of course, Connexus has been a very successful venture, and Gregory will be a great part of that, leading essentially that organization. Commissioner Brasted.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have met Greg and did sit on one of the interview panels for his interview. But I was super impressed with him during the interview, but also out at the 3M Open tent. He's not scheduled to start till August 1st, but he took a day out of his schedule and spent quite a few hours out there with us. And our tent was full of developers, realtors, brokers. And so we already got to really introduce him to some key players in our community. And he was just shining. People liked him. So we hope this is a great match and look forward to seeing him carry the torch. I mean, economic development has been a priority of our county. So we will continue that.
And very big shoes to fill,
Absolutely.
with both Jaquel leaving first and then Sam leaving recently. Both high achievers, and I'm confident Greg will fill that gap. Commissioner Meisner.
I'm sorry, thank you, Mr. Chair. Just follow-up commentary on that. So that's great to hear. I mean, because I think with this role too, this is just my opinion, but I just think that is so important to have those intangibles that you were talking about, because this really needs to be about building relationships and not just, running a meeting or, organizing things on a spreadsheet. So that pleases me a lot that he clearly has some intangible skills that can build relationships with who we need. Thank you.
Further discussion? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Look,
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad,
Aye.
Commissioner West,
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte,
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner,
Aye.
Commissioner Reiner.
Aye.
That item passes. That'll bring you to item 10 on your agenda, which is a committee appointment. We'll consider appointing Greg Hayes to the Emergency Medical Services Council, representing the Metropolitan Emergency Services Board for a 3-year term expiring July 31st of 2025. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Brassad. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Reinert. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? That will pass unanimous. Thank you, Greg, for your service on that board. And that concludes the county board meeting for today. We're adjourned.